Go.
Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I am Razim. This is Rooms and Reptiles, Dungeons and Dragons. I do have a couple points of news before we do get started. First off, I'm giving some more bonus rewards to those that support the channel. I just kind of figured you guys should really get them. You'll see more information on those posted in the chat every now and then, automatically by the Cobot. Really, Ikrit? Also, I have started doing a daily goal. Today's goal is $6 to cover kraken insurance on the pending. So do consider supporting for that. Otherwise, Dova, that was all from me.
Well, all right. Captain's log. 14th Uktar, 1512. We faced the kraken. It rammed the ship and tried to break the masts off. We scrambled desperately amidst the storm to fend off this awful beast. Things are looking grim for the pending, but we will win. Also, that lizard folk probably has dysentery and needs to be put down. I'm concerned about some of the crew. Atet and Calcifer seem to be involved in some strange rituals. Meanwhile, there's Terminix, who keeps flying off the handle at literally the drop of a pin. Zell seems to be alright, and I'm intrigued by the burgeoning power of Nerexius. But for now, the kraken. As Erix drops his pen, the ship creaking as it slams from side to side as the kraken claws now digging into the side of the vessel begins to haul itself aboard. Info, you are currently riding the kraken. Your sword dug into a small chink in the armor of its monstrous, bony reinforced head.
I think the word you're looking for is carapace.
That too. Carapace would be a good word. But yes, it is your turn to begin. There you go.
Mine.
Yep. What are you doing?
Well, the kraken is hauling itself onto the boat, is that right?
Yes.
first, Rock, remember, you have your elemental weapon. Just so we don't forget that D4.
Yep.
Alright. So is the Kraken still out in the water, or is it sort of halfway onto the boat?
It's basically half and half. Most of it is still under the water, but it's sort of upper half, like the gigantic claws as well as its head is slowly getting out of the water at the moment.
Well, time to resume stabbing.
All right. Go ahead and roll to attack.
You got it.
Was I falling?
Yes, you were.
Sure.
As you, grabbing out of the short sword, try to push it in further, it seems that there's maybe a second layer or an actual skull beneath it, as the tip only scrapes against the bone inside. You can tell that you're causing it some fairly annoying pain, but it does not seem to be adversely affected by it. However, you can tell that the flesh around it is continuously sizzling and smoking, the sword glowing a bright white.
Yep. Pretty much designed to kill this thing.
Very nice, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And I'm just gonna smite it a little bit. Just gonna smite it. Alright. This on the Kraken. Plus the D4. Nah. Alright, and plus the smite. At level 1. Are you serious?
Oh my goodness.
That means all your rolls are just up from now.
Yeah, you can only
Oh
improve.
no! How does that even happen?
Well, he can get the same. It's more that he just can't, get worse.
This makes
Yeah,
me
it's true.
angry.
You cannot. Everything is better than this. At least. Maybe? I don't know. Anything
It's
else for your turn?
greater than or equal to this.
Yes.
Hey, it's a positive thing.
Alright, Eric's, it's your turn.
I would like to use my legendary action of no on the Kraken.
We already talked about this. The Kraken has a legendary action of yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, fine. I shall do the things that I do, and probably a firebolt.
Alright, go ahead and roll to attack.
First off, make sure it's me. Second off, definitely think I've got pack tactics right now, right?
Yeah.
Considering we have somebody riding it.
That is not going to hit, unfortunately.
What?
As the firebolt lances forth, it impacts against the side of the bony carapace on its head, and it seems to burn away some of the armor, but it doesn't actually seem to do much damage to it. The remainders of it kind of sizzling in the rain.
Well, crap. I guess Cobalt's turn then.
Before that is going to take a legendary action.
I would like to use my legendary action of no.
I've already told you. As a legendary action of doing it anyways.
At least we're using up his legendary actions.
Hey. Rude. Wait a minute. I just accidentally attacked myself. Let's not do that. Let's instead attack Infel.
Oh boy. Me.
I don't believe it's actually possible for it to miss you.
Well, maybe.
Yes, it rolled a 30.
That's a hit.
Could you give me a athletics check?
I can.
I missed the freaking damage roll.
What?
Come on. I accidentally clicked on the kraken with it.
You wounded the kraken? Oh, I guess it's back to self.
And it's confusion. As you manage to stay on the kraken as one of its tentacles whips around, slashing you with its multitude of small barbs. And Cobalt, it is your turn, as you are now falling towards the churning surf below.
Okay, how high up is the deck of the ship?
About 40, 50 feet.
Hmm. Alright, in that case, I gotta do Dimension Door.
All right.
And just pop back up.
Right. And where are you dimension dooring to?
Let's go just like right here. I can still see the Kraken from here, right?
Just barely.
Actually, I'll stand here and hold on to the ropes of the thing, the mast.
All right. And I believe you still have your blink active.
I do. Nope.
Did you? We're hearing nothing but typing on your end.
All right. As you remain in this plane of existence, hand wrapped around one of the, or sort of wrapping one of the ropes around your wrist and hand. Is that going to be your turn, Cobalt?
Yep.
All right. Riku, your turn. Oh, right. I forgot.
You know, I hope these little kobolds fire the cannons again. Right when it's hugging up against our ship like this.
There's the hope.
That'd be handy.
Can I make the resolution less? Because that'd probably help. He is going to see if he can't fire one of the cannons. Or at least order them down there to fire. As two of them are actually going to hit. Ooh.
The toll.
As the deck rumbles, in the low light, a black cloud of smoke just billows out from the deck below yours as a heavy thump can be heard, a fleshy thump. The kraken screams, a somewhat higher pitch than before, but still very low, very rumbly. It almost resonates and almost shakes your bones apart. as it begins to withdraw one of its claws. Its claw now withdrawn as its head kind of angles downwards, looking towards those cannons. As it plunges the claw downward into the actual side of the ship. You all hear a tremendous cracking noise as a large amount of the side of the hull is cracked open. It doesn't seem that the claw actually got through, but now there's a quite large gaping hole in the side, roughly 10-ish feet long and maybe 3 feet tall.
Hey Zim, you're about to become the cabbage guy, but instead of my cabbage, it's my ship.
Hey everyone.
Please
Hello?
do not hop on voice while we are doing D&D.
Who it is?
There we go. That also works. What was it? Oh yes, with its 2 remaining attacks, it is going to whip one of its tentacles out at Rock on the deck.
Bring it on.
A 31 to hit.
You know, every time I say something, things happen.
That is 20 points of damage. Could you give me an athletics check? Alright. As you are now grappled by one of the tentacles.
Oh, yeah, bring the meat blender closer to you. Way to go, Kraken.
Oh, it's going to do something a bit worse.
Definitely not for you.
Let's see. Direction is it going in? Oh, that's a perfect direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that'll do it. As he throws rock at Eric's.
Catch me.
Could you give me a dexterity saving throw, Eric's?
Oh god.
I'm honestly more worried about the ship than I am about Rock.
Coming in for a hug.
It's 10 feet, so another... So, Eric's, you are knocked prone, and both of you are going to take 18 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, sorry, both of you are now prone.
Rock, I would say Rock feels fine, but the numbers say otherwise.
And that is going to be its turn. Is Elikale the Moist?
Good, you remembered. Let me pull up his NPC sheet because I forgot to do that yet. Water elemental. There we go. He is still attacking the kraken.
Alright. Go ahead and roll to attack for him. That will hit. Roll damage.
Woo!
Very nice. That will also hit.
I'm satisfied.
Very nice.
As
As you hear deep kind of crunching noises from the see that saving throw. from
He did what?
Kale just basically continuing to impart large amounts of force on the tentacle that he's currently kind of grabbed onto. He succeeded on that strength saving throw.
I figured, but it was worth a shot.
Mhm.
Kale, you did well.
The air elemental. Actually, you wouldn't see this, but you would kind of hear and feel the results as there's a large thumping noise, and the kraken almost rises up slightly as something slams into it from the bottom with quite a bit of force. And one of them does hit. All right. As the air elemental, at extremely high speeds, zips through the water and slams in the directly into the sort of the chest of the kraken. As the kraken roars and stares downwards at it. Rock, you doing all right?
And add the 18 damage, so I did. So I'm feeling super.
Do you have
Feeling
any,
great.
Do you have any potions?
I have 0 of 0 potions.
You have extra acid damage.
We haven't been getting a whole lot of those.
So I'm not saying that I could use healing, but I wouldn't turn it down at this point.
As you guys would be aware, as Rock, hands shaking and one of his arms clearly out of his socket, slowly sort of staggers to his feet. He don't look too good.
I want to re-pop my arm back into the socket.
As a sharp shock of pain kind of shoots through you for a moment. You roll your shoulders and grip your axe more tightly.
Maybe take this turn to throw it a couple times.
Well, what I'm going to do is, one, I'm going to do second wind.
That is 1d10 plus Constitution as well as fighter level, I believe.
Add 13 to that.
So you are at 106. It's 18, which would be
9 is good.
90. No.
No, 9 is good.
98. There we go.
There's a 9 in it. And then I'm going to use my
Actually,
action.
no, it would be 88.
Even better, I'm going to use my action surge so I can, because I am still within range to do Eldritch Blast on it.
Alright. You're gonna do that twice?
If I use
Second one
one
is-
attack
second-
3 times, but because you said extra attack doesn't count for spells.
Well, second wind is a bonus action.
Oh,
So
is
you-
it?
Yeah. And
Oh,
then
then-
action surge is a free action.
Oh, then that is, I'm gonna do both. So I'm gonna attack 6 times. Because Rock mad.
Give me a moment.
Just like rapid firing eldritch blasts, like a machine gun out of his mouth.
Alright. Go ahead and give me all of those attack rolls at once, and I'll figure out exactly which ones hit and which ones don't.
Can't you roll like 60, 12 d20s at once?
One was a crit advantage for those.
Uh,
Okay, I am confused. Why does he have 6 attacks?
because he rolled an action surge.
Additionally, his Eldritch Blast hits twice.
Well, yeah, but
Yes.
is an action
And
surge
it
just
hits
The
one?
action surge is
What do you mean? Eldritch Blast hits 3 times.
yes, at this
Oh.
level it would be
Oh,
3.
there you go. So 2 actions, 3 hits each.
Well, if he's got... Okay, I'm not going to argue it. I was just
Uh,
confused.
so 1 crit and 2 hits.
Would that be advantage because of Kale being over there, or no?
Uh,
And
well,
Digi.
Yeah, Infel's
Infel
there.
is on top of the Kraken, so yes, you would have advantage.
So I'll just roll 6 more times then.
Alright.
Oh, crap. And I dropped the deck all over the floor. Again.
That's a total of 3 crits.
No, I think it's 4 crits.
Stand back for a moment.
What the
So
heck?
the 11 is the end of the first 6. 8 and 22. Okay. Here's 1. That would be 3 crits.
3
Yeah.
crits are still good.
And how many hits besides the crits?
Well, I've got all 3 crit cards out.
Well, let's see how many hits besides the 3 crits.
Yeah, do the regular hits first, and then we'll...
We'll handle the crits after.
2 hits, 3 crits.
Nice.
That's the damage for the normal ones.
Alright. Ready for the, everything else?
Yes.
First crit. Targeted spell. Maximum damage, and roll the damage dice again. So probably for sake of ease, Rock, type 10 in the modifier box, and then roll the damage dice. On the Kraken.
Wow. That was a
Nice.
good freaking hit.
He didn't do it on the Kraken.
It's fine.
Alright, ready for the next one?
Yep.
Resistance is futile. Maximum damage, and if the target is resistant to this damage type, it loses that resistance for 1 minute. If the target isn't resistant, it becomes vulnerable to this damage type for 1 minute.
We should.
Oh, dear God.
We should have done the crits first.
Mistakes.
So. Okay. 10. Next crit, please. The last crit, thankfully.
Magical Barrage. Maximum damage, and 3 additional targets within range are affected at half potency, or the spell's area of effect is increased by 15 feet. Unfortunately, that would include friendly targets.
Yeah, I was about
Yes,
to say,
it
I
would.
hate when it hits, when there's only 1 target. But it still takes 20 damage because maximum damage and vulnerability.
Yeah. Rock
true.
did some serious damage here.
With the freaking cantrip.
Rock is the meat
Nova.
blender.
Dude, that was so cool. You
Rock
being
has a sore
sick.
throat today.
Leave him alone.
If somebody wanted Rock, just point them to this episode.
Uh,
What were we gonna say, Cobalt?
I said Rock has a sore throat today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yelling.
too much excitement.
It's a Kraken, man. It was too much.
Yeah.
Too much excitement.
Alright, you ready? You done with these cards, Dova?
I believe so.
Jeez. So he did a total of, let's see. So there's 22 from the first ones, another 10 from the second crit. He did 52 points of damage.
With a cantrip.
With a cantrip.
Well,
Pretty dang good.
honestly, at level 11, it's not that surprising, considering Toll the Dead can deal 3d12 damage in one hit.
Max,
I mean,
that's only 36.
That's still a max of
Yeah.
36, but the thing is, Rockrock had to hit each and every one, like as many of the things as he did.
Well, it's also vulnerable to this force damage now.
Yeah, now it is, which is great.
Could you give me 3 dexterity saving throws, Rock? Actually, no. 2 for you and 1 for Eric's.
Do you still have your Indomitable? Oh man.
No, I used it early on.
It's not gonna help you now.
That's all of you.
You know, I'm willing to take that after all that damage I did.
Understandably, it seems the Kraken is tired of your shit.
Understandable.
There's a very low roll on that, doing 10 points of lightning damage. The second one, a much more reasonable roll at 28. And the
I'd ask, but I don't know if it'd help.
what is the question?
Where's the lightning coming out of?
The lightning seems to be coming out of the clouds, but you notice that the Kraken is definitely controlling it as a crackling of magical energy emerges from somewhere within the massive tentacles in its on its rear side, sort of almost like a Jacob's ladder traveling up between 2 tentacles and shooting off into the sky for a moment before coming back down.
I was wondering if
striking
my
whoever's
Eldritch
attack.
Wards dampened it a bit.
You're unsure.
Yeah, because
Same.
Rockrock's not within 30 feet of me.
Yeah. So yeah, Rock, you are now unconscious as you are basically stunned from a quite stunned and almost paralyzed from a quite hefty shock. As your mind kind of swims, you realize that your lungs don't seem to work right now. But lying on the ground, you can do nothing but almost stare upwards.
This is the first official enemy to take Rock down. The other 2 have been sparring, and one was an illusion.
Finally over the opponent, Rock.
Rockrock's smiling as he's gagging for air.
Infel, your turn.
Okay. It seems vitally important that this thing starts focusing on me again. So, where was that spot I just witnessed?
It was sort of near its the rear end of it. I'll open up an actual picture of it, and we are getting a good bit of background noise from you.
Yes, I know. There's people around.
No problem. Let me share it. Bop. But yeah, somewhere within the massive tentacles on the rear side. It's possible that it's coming from the tentacles themselves, or maybe somewhere deeper within, and that's just where they're coming out. But you're not quite sure.
Interesting. Well, time to make it start paying attention to me. So, because things are getting dicey. Now that it's been looking at other people and just took down Rock. So, I suppose I'll attack.
Go ahead and roll to attack. That hits.
And I'm gonna add a level 2 smite to this one.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh. That's some good stuff right there.
Second attack.
There's a crit.
Critical.
Crit deck. Give me another attack roll to cancel that out.
Oh, right. Because I'm gonna smite.
These
You
poor,
just know I am.
These poor,
Piercing damage.
these poor
yes,
card boxes are getting so worn out.
Just don't even put him in the box.
I got no other room to put them anywhere. In the knee.
Give me a good one.
Maximum double damage.
Ooh.
Is that a good one?
So 6 plus
4
10
plus
20.
4d8.
Would the smite be counted in this?
It
Well,
would
I was gonna
technically.
do it.
All right.
Alright.
Oh yeah,
32.
smites are double in crits. That's why paladin crits are so great.
Alright, let me just do the math here. Maximum double damage.
24, 48,
Let's see.
68 points of damage in a single strike.
Let's see.
I consider that pretty good.
4.
Oh, right. Plus 4. So 68.
Let's see.
Sorry, 72.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Alright. Maximum double, so 20, 72, 90.
I already
Two.
took care of the maximum double. It's going to be 72.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. So 3 times 8, 24.
well,
24
my
times 2 is
weapon's a
48.
1d6 plus 4, so that's
Yep.
10, 20.
48 plus 20, 68 plus 4, 72. I'm sorry, 76. It just keeps going up. I need to stop adding. So,
Well, 48 maximum is 32, isn't it?
it's 3d8, correct?
No, it's a level 3 smite.
So yeah, it would be like 92.
I put it in the box. Well,
All right,
I'm pretty
so-
sure that got its attention.
That got its freaking attention. You fucking believe it. As you slam down with your fist, pressing the sword through the bony plate that it was stuck in before. You hear a very heavy crack. The kraken, attention formerly split, is now solely focused on you. I hope you're ready.
For the end
I
of the world?
am very ready.
Kraken's like, one, oh son of a bitch.
Can I just say, like, a beam briefly pierced the clouds?
Absolutely. As for a brief moment, a beam of moonlight shines through the hole that was created by such a beam.
Sailor,
I
Sailor,
believe
preserve me.
that's going to be your turn.
That's gonna be my turn.
All right, time for a legendary action already. And actually, since I forgot, a layer action as well.
A layer action.
Yes. Could you give me a saving throw for Kale, Cobalt, actually everyone. Literally everyone. Could you give me a Constitution saving throw?
Yes.
Even me.
I don't think it's gonna matter for you, since I believe you automatically fail it anyways.
No, you automatically fail dex saves. You actually still roll Constitution ones.
Then,
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
Go ahead and give me that Constitution save.
Hold on. Mine's going to be a 23 because I'm in range to get my own charisma buff to the.
Well, that is
So, 23.
excellent because that is the DC.
23?
Yeah.
Ah.
Krakens don't mess around.
As that beam shoots up into the air, there's a brief moment of just almost tension in the air before it finally snaps. A large amount of that same lightning just bursting forth from the kraken.
Wait, can I counterspell this?
This is not something that can be counterspelled. Sorry.
I thought you said last game that I was like working on the ability to understand exactly what it was.
Yes,
Sure.
but
Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Alright. As soon as Fancy Ground starts doing things. Okay, I got a 10.
You've almost got it though.
Dang.
You're on the cusp, and you sort of feel it about to happen, and as you look, just something about it doesn't quite click. As everybody is going to take what's the ethereal influence?
This comes from Riseroth. Explosive rounds. Cannons are loaded with limited special rounds. X for each cannon. These rounds also cause extra damage from shrapnel. Fuse system as well, as it wouldn't leave it just sitting around, similar to a grenade but in a larger ball. And then it cuts off.
Yeah, he was talking. He was talking about that with me earlier.
So accept.
Yes.
All right.
Infel, you're going
Yes.
to take 4 points of lightning damage.
well, that's going to be cut in half because a ward.
Oh, you can cut that in half again.
Yeah, I take half the damage I receive from spell or spell-like attacks, as well as people within 10 feet of me. But there's nobody within 10 feet of me.
2 points of damage.
Boy, I bet
Everyone-
he feels embarrassed.
Everyone else takes 8 points of damage, and Rock, my beautiful boy, you take 2 death saving fails.
I love you too, Nova.
Mhm.
Two?
Upon taking damage while you are unconscious or sort of gripping onto your life, mortally wounded, you take 2 points of you take 2 death saving fails.
I thought that was only
Similar
if they
to
crit.
it's similar to a crit fail.
I thought that was only if they crit the attack. But okay.
Eric's, you better heal him.
Yeah, I mean Eric's is kinda right there.
I've been planning on it since he went unconscious, but my turn hasn't come yet.
Speaking of which, it is now your turn.
I am going to cast heal and help Rock to his feet.
Ooh, the big
Ooh.
spell?
Heal is quite a heal.
That's quite a freaking heal.
That is
Huh.
quite the heal.
As you are healed for 70 points.
Rock's gonna get up.
You suddenly feel air enter your lungs, and you regain control of your limbs.
That was great, but don't die on us, okay?
He's gonna give you a tail thumb up.
I have always been curious how exactly that is. How exactly
So-
that works.
So what
Tail's
I imagine is like his tail does a little curl, so it looks like a hand, and then the tip of the tail goes back up as a thumb.
That looks That seems like it would work.
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Is it going to be anything else for your turn, Eric's?
That's pretty much all I can do. I did
Fair enough.
help him to his feet, though.
All right. As you are both not prone anymore, there is going to be a legendary action from the Kraken. Since that previous thing was a layer action. It is going to, understandably, take a swipe at Infel.
Bring it.
21 to hit.
That is exactly my AC.
There we go. As you take
Ow.
24 points of bludgeoning damage, could you give me an athletics check, please?
Okay. This time I get knocked off.
This time, as the tentacle grips around you, it digs in at just the right, almost a pressure point near your arm, and almost reflexively your hand releases its grip against your will. As you are constricted within the tentacle itself and dragged into the air, you can sense it's almost rearing back with a good bit of contempt. Cobalt, your turn.
And I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna cast 100 minor elementals at level 6.
Oh boy.
I'm going to
Can you
summon.
have water elemental summon or the air elemental summoned at the same time?
No, but I'm just gonna dismiss him.
Right.
And because I'm not losing concentration, he does get dismissed. He doesn't just go crazy.
All right.
So I'm going to summon 2 gargoyles. And one of them, I'm going to instruct to, what's the word? He's going to be Rockrock's mount. Rockrock's going to ride him and fly around, and the gargoyle himself is going to focus on dodging the attacks while Rockrock attacks.
All right.
The second one is going to go help Infel to do the same thing if he needs it, and if he's restrained by the kraken, help him get out of it and stuff like that.
All right.
And additionally, if the person they're helping gets knocked out and falls into the water, their primary goal is to get them back onto the ship.
Well, let's. Where are they going to be summoned?
I forget. Is there a range? 90 feet. Is Rockrock within 90 feet?
Yes.
Okay, so that one's going to be summoned next to Rockrock, and the other one's going to be summoned near Infel, in the air.
As coalescing out of the water, as it sort of solidifies and concentrates and condenses, are 2 almost slimy-looking gargoyles. Very blank faces as they kind of snort quite loudly right next to you, Rockrock.
I smile wide.
Is that going to be your turn, Cobalt?
Yes. Let me do the blink again. Oh, okay. Next turn.
With its final legendary action, it is going to throw you, Infel. And actually, it's going to be less of a throw and more of a spike. Can I get a... I'm going to do a dexterity check from one of these gargoyles to see if they might be able to help out. Oh no, that's a 4. As you are going to be brought up and almost whipped around as you're slammed directly into the almost jagged metal and wood side where its claw once was, doing a hefty amount. What's the normal damage on this?
You know, I was about to be surprised. I said like it spikes you a mile down into the water. It's like, oh no.
Something a bit different. As you take 23 points of bludgeoning damage. 23, that puts you at 103, I believe? Or 102. No, 112. Alright. And as the breath is sort of knocked out of you, you have to sort of regain your bearings as you realize you're falling down into the ocean, much like Cobalt was earlier, as I grabbed the wrong thing.
I'm sure the gargoyle can help him now.
Oh yeah. Well, as soon as his turn comes up, of course.
Hey, Captain, good news. Looks like your lizard's getting put down.
Riku is going to continue his efforts below decks. None of you are really sure exactly what he's doing, but you hear a lot of yelling, as well as iron being slammed around, and you hear a faint crossbow shot as a rather heavy bolt just kind of tucks against the underside of its carapace. It is the Kraken's turn now. What is it gonna do? Can it see Cobalt? Oh, it can.
But how could he do this in front of a child?
He doesn't have any filters, sorry. Does a 24 hit, Cobalt?
Yes.
Alright. Does 21 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And now, it is going to do something very displeasing to you. It is going to bite you.
Oh, it grappled me?
Yep.
Okay.
Actually, could you give me a athletics saving throw for that? Or athletics check for that?
Okay.
I mean,
Athletics.
if you don't want to bother, then... Yeah, if you
Oh,
want to
wait.
go ahead for that,
I can
then
use
go ahead.
acrobatics too, though, right?
Yes, you actually can.
Okay, thank you.
I mean,
I'm gonna use
I-
a lucky charge for that one.
Alright.
See if I can get something better. I keep. Well, there it is. I keep losing acrobatic. You know what? I'm gonna use my last point.
Alright.
Because I really don't want to get grabbed.
I mean, maybe I could try
well,
and pull you out
There it
if
is.
the DM allows it.
It's fine. I've got other contingencies. I just didn't want to get bitten.
Mhm.
There you have it, Dova. That's all the lucky points I had.
Release the child, fell beast.
As the thorny tentacle whips around, grabbing you from the opposite side of the mast as it almost snakes around out of your field of view. It grabs you by both of the legs and drags you with just almost a brutal sort of speed, as you're sort of left confused as you are now swallowed by the Kraken. It's going to do some damage with the teeth as you go in, of course.
And here, I thought Rockrock was going to be the one getting eaten.
As you
You'd
take
think,
26 points of piercing damage.
Well, Just so you know, guys, if it says that I take acid damage when my turn starts, then I'm dead. Because I am 1 hit point away from unconsciousness.
With its final attack, just out of pure anger and sort of... Actually, no. I think it's going to swat at this gargoyle.
For trying to get in the way of its fun and infill.
That and maybe it just thinks it's ugly. Right, that's going to be a hit.
Resistant to damage.
All right. As it's swatted, and the force of the tentacle almost knocks it directly into you as it just passes over you, Infel. It is now not that gargoyle's turn. It is Gargoyle 13's turn, the one right next to Rock. Rock. Oh, sorry. It's just basically just going to hold position, almost dip down so that you can climb on top of it.
Oh, I will.
Gargoyle number 8, still reeling from the impact, is going to dip down and try to recover Infel as you splash into the water beneath. With your senses returned, of course, you'd be able to kind of assist him in getting you out. Elikale the Moist. It is his turn now.
And I have no idea what just happened because I was over the edge of the ship then.
What's your passive perception?
12. I'm surprised I didn't have to roll a constitution roll for just being dizzy.
You would have actually seen it. And actually, pretty much everyone except for Raku would have seen that happen. As there was a very audible sound of a toothed jaw snapping shut over something thrown in. As Elikale attempts to continue the breaking of the various bones inside the tentacles, but it seems all the bones in this section are indeed broken. As,
the card for that one was something about a bite attack, so that doesn't apply. So
I don't really mind if they're not really using a weapon, or if they're NPCs in general.
Okay.
As he sort of crawls along the tentacle, he tries to continue the onslaught, but the force and sort of the residual electrical energy prevents him from exerting too much force, lest he injure himself in his watery, moist form.
This is not good at all.
Oops. I accidentally pressed the next turn button. Rock, your turn.
Well, I'm gonna hop on. So I saw Kobold get eaten.
Yes.
That is not gonna sit well with Rock. So he's gonna jump on this gargoyle and fly towards it.
All right. We'll consider it a mount for you, so it's going to move on your turn. How heavy are you?
30 pounds.
30 pounds. With armor? Probably near like 80-ish pounds.
I mean, oh yeah, because I don't have my adamant armor anymore.
Oh right, it's on loan right now.
Yeah, that adamant armor would be like 160, 180.
So yeah, I'd say you're maybe around 60 pounds.
That sounds
So yeah,
right.
it'd be able to carry you quite easily. It has a movement of 60 feet in the air. As the leathery wings flap, kind of spraying water everywhere, it slowly starts to lift itself off the ground and point itself towards the kraken.
Alright, I'm gonna do two things, but the first thing I'm gonna do is attack it with Eldritch Blast.
I'd say getting on would be actually it'd be half of your movement. So, and you aren't really moving anymore. It's the gargoyle. So yeah, go ahead and roll to attack. Hit. Oh yeah, just give me all three at once. Miss, and a miss. It seems that karma is.
You do have
coming for you.
advantage.
It is true. You
I do, I forgot.
You do technically still have advantage. There is indeed an ally within 5 feet. Less than 5 feet.
Would there would be two allies if you count the one in his stomach.
That is the one I am counting, yes.
What is wrong with Elakale? Why do you hate Elakale?
One's a
Water.
crit.
Too watery to be an ally. Yeah, all three of those hit, one of which is a crit.
Too
So
wet.
go ahead and roll damage for 2.
Too wet to be an ally.
Too moist.
And remember that vulnerability.
So 24, yeah. 24 points from just that.
Ready for the card.
Yes.
Spell Storm. Double damage.
Nice. Go ahead and roll another damage. So technically, it's quadruple damage.
Yeah. Roll high. Come on, Rock. Max.
Oh,
Oof.
all right. Oh, it
Wait,
stopped
that was
on
a
a 9.
5? No.
It stopped on a 9 for me.
I
What?
saw that.
Yeah,
no,
I saw
there
it
was a
too.
9 on top,
Alright.
but it said
On my
Yeah.
screen, it nearly
It looked
rolled
like a
to
9.
It nearly
No, it
rolled
did-
to 9 on my screen, and then it rolled back to 5.
on my screen.
Yeah.
It rolled on to 9 and then showed a 5.
Ah.
That is great.
That's not fair.
Still, it's vulnerable to the quadruple damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage right
It's
there.
vulnerable to quadruple damage.
Whoa, shit.
Oh my.
That's a tuple damage. What was that other thing you were gonna do? Rock?
Sorry, I was coughing. Um, I'm gonna start flying towards it,
All right.
like beelining. How close can I get to this thing?
Probably just go by the edges of that token before you actually smack into it.
Okay, because Rock was gonna dive into its mouth to go rescue Cobalt.
That's not a good idea. I would advise against it.
You sure about this?
Just beat it up until you get spit out.
Well, Rock's sure about this. I, as a player, am not.
Good to know. Yeah, you'd be able to make it. Are you going in with the gargoyle, or?
Yes, and as he does, he's gonna mentally think to Sora, sorry.
You know, I was having a similar idea.
Give me an acrobatics check to squeeze in.
Acrobatics or athletics? You spaced out for a second. What did he say?
Acrobatics, since you're basically trying to angle yourself into there. Wait, hold on. One sec. So you are trying to take the gargoyle in, correct?
Yes.
You're basically riding it all the way in?
Yep.
Give me a plain old dexterity check instead. Do you have proficiency with riding animals?
I do have proficiency with land vehicles.
Count for this. So yeah, go ahead and give me a dexterity check. 13.
Has anyone seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yeah, I rewatched that and I realized Drax is the rock of the group.
Yes. I'm gonna jump in its mouth and kill it because it's vulnerable on the inside. Why would it be any less vulnerable on the inside than on the outside?
As the wind pelts against your face, as you try to wipe some of it off sea straits, but you catch it at a moment when the mouth is open just barely enough. And in the brief moments of silence as you pass through the teeth, the gargoyle beneath you is impaled on one of the razor sharp spikes in the mouth, as well as you would also get scraped by one of them as well, taking 6 points of that would probably be slashing damage, as you are now free falling into the pure black darkness of the mouth. And actually, you would kind of splat against the back of the throat and almost instinctively get pulled down. Infel. It's your turn.
Oh, he's mad.
Yeah, you saw this happen as well.
I want to make a check for just insight onto how alive this creature is right now.
Go ahead.
I guess that'd be investigation?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Just straight wisdom.
Well, insight is actually a skill, so
Oh.
there is. I thought you were. But yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Go ahead. Roll insight, yeah. From all the punishment you've pumped into it, you're wondering why it's not dead yet. Anything else, you reckon, would probably die with another stiff breeze. And this is not looking too structurally intact either.
Can I...
As the gargoyle is reaching down and sort of pulling you up by the straps of your armor, as it's flapping quite vigorously, trying to pull your full weight out of the surf.
Yeah. I'm going to instruct it to take me to the underbelly.
Alright. Oh, it's not again. Alright. As it kind of it snorts again and doesn't actually pull you out of the water, but just using its wings kind of pulls you at a decent speed as you make your way to the underside of the kraken. It doesn't seem to notice you, having started to focus on the ship itself as well as Eric's.
I'm going to mutter bitterly. Do not do this to
Red alert.
children.
All hands to battle stations.
That hits. Damage. And also, what are you using? As the Moon Touch short sword is still actually lodged within its forehead.
Oh, I dropped it?
Yeah. The tentacles themselves almost made you release your grip as they hit a rather unfortunate and misplaced pressure point. By chance, it seems.
I wouldn't normally do this, but Infel's a little mad, so he's going to use the lizard folk's natural weapon of teeth. I'm going to bite.
Alright, go ahead and roll to attack. Actually, what's your modifier with that? We'll take the 16 from the original roll.
1d6 plus 3 piercing.
No, the modifier on your hit.
Oh, it's a plus 7.
Plus 7? That'll hit. Roll damage. Can this
Plus
man roll?
smite? I wonder, I mean, this is an attack.
As you start to claw your way through, biting at the very thick, almost blubbery skin, you just instinctively start pulling. As you hear, almost feel a very intense thumping noise just beyond your bloodied fingertips.
Ooh. I am mad. Hello, bonus radiance, and second attack using bite.
Well, we won't think about that as missing, but technically that missed. But you know, that first attack. Well, how do you want to kill it?
You know, I had an idea. But it's a little ridiculous.
And what was that idea? As you are currently literally waist deep, kind of pulling yourself upwards, clawing into its chest.
Well, oh, I'm at the chest, eh? Good.
Yeah, you're on the
I was
underside.
going to keep tunneling inside
All right.
and find the heart.
Not too
And
hard to find,
keep
surprisingly.
Going.
Yeah, not too hard to find. As the sort of connective tissue under your claws, or above your claws in this case, continues to give way, you eventually come to a red sort of pulsating wall, and with one of your claws just continue to claw at it, ripping through it, tearing. A large amount of blood is pouring out from this tissue, but it's still pumping. And you can hear, almost deafening, for Cobalt and Rock as well, as it lets out this intense pain scream, almost twisting and writhing, as Infel, with one last claw stroke, you burst through the inner wall and are greeted with a literal torrent of blood. Can you give me an athletics check?
Yes. I'd like to use a lucky point.
Go ahead.
Ah.
As with pure tenacity and the claws sort of digging into the side walls of this tunnel that you've made, you manage to stay entrenched as it seems the blood from, well, the entire damn thing basically funnels through this small hole. As the kraken is now in the process of dying. You can't really do much aside roar in anger. However, we are still in initiative, because in 4 turns, something very bad happens to Cobalt.
Yeah, I was wondering, since the second attack didn't matter, I was wondering if I could do something.
No.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, Eric's. It's your turn.
So Cobalt.
You're not. Yes, and you're not quite sure if the kraken is dead at this point. It's roaring and screaming a lot, but that's kind of normal for things that are angry at you.
I did my best.
I know what I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite thing.
Don't you dare.
What?
I'm just saying. I'm just.
Is it owls?
You'd
No,
better not
it's gonna
summon
be the
owls.
same as the last one, the plesiosaurs. Except this one's specifically going to go into the mouth after Cobalt.
How big is a plesiosaur?
Smaller than a kraken?
Boy,
I don't
half
think
the
that-
party
that's
is
not
just
gonna win.
inside this
That's
corpse
not gonna.
now.
This is. Yeah, you're not supposed to go in the mouth. You can certainly try,
Say
but
that.
you have the feeling it's not gonna fit.
Well, I can't go in after him.
Join the party. It's nice and warm in here.
Hey, I made my own hole.
Yeah. Oh, and also
Oh,
keep
look.
track of how many rounds you can
Once-
hold your breath. Infel.
Look at the druid.
I can hold my breath for
Too
10
good to
minutes.
get dirty.
Well, there you go.
Too good to get in the kraken guts, guys. Look at this. This man's over here. This prim and proper kobold.
No, I just literally have no... I'm not going to be of any use in there. I will wind up needing to be rescued.
Probably.
And there's really no sense in, having another victim.
Can't lizard folk hold their breath for like 30 minutes?
10 minutes.
Oh, well, still. That's
He'll
more than
move
you
over
probably-
here.
I'll be
Still
fine.
summon a plesiosaur. Just to the south of the kraken. Ready to attack if need be. Otherwise, he will start helping people back onto the ship.
All right.
And that's it for me.
Very well. Cobalt. You are currently restrained and blinded
Anything else?
as you've been basically shoved into a constricting passage and brought down into its stomach, sort of falling out of its esophagus into a rather tight stomach full of very noxious acidic gases that basically they clear out your sinuses.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where did I end up with all that blood?
In the just on the edge of the heart cavity.
Alright, so I've not found Rockhark or Cobalt. Alright.
In the stomach itself, you are not actually restrained, but you are still blinded, as a rather displeasing amount of this sort of slime and acid has coated your face and eyes.
Is it warm and comfy in here?
For a brief moment, yes.
Okay, good.
It's like kind of refreshing. Oh, it's nice, shelter from the storm, but then immediately you smell and feel the burning.
I see. Okay. Do I get any sort of information from my kraken, from my gargoyles that I summoned?
You would get small amounts of it. Certainly nothing like a familiar, but you would get almost a sort of amazement feeling from one of the gargoyles. The other, you got the feeling that they met their end somewhere.
I see. Wait, he got impaled on the tooth and died instantly?
Pretty much.
Jeez. Am I joined with Rock?
Yes, actually. Shortly after you're sort of plopped into this stomach, there's a sudden clank on the back of your head as Rock is now deposited in there as well.
I give you a tails thumb up.
You are unable to see it.
I'm gonna smile and I'm probably gonna feel around for what just hit me. And once I feel all the spikes and the coating of dirt, I'm gonna say, "Oh my, it's Rock."
Hey, Tova.
Yeah?
Can I use an item real quick?
What item?
I have a spell coin of light. I was gonna use it to cast it on my axe, so we'd like to see.
Sure. As you reach into your bag, pull out a coin. Actually, no, that would be on your turn, which it is not. It is currently Cobalt's turn.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give Rock a big hug, first of all,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna cast Dimension Door and land on the ship
All right.
and take him with me.
Let's see. Your memory's pretty good, so you'd end up right about here.
My memory's pretty good.
Your
He
memory's
says.
pretty good. As the very soothing rain washes off all the bile and gunk and acid off, you're just kind of realizing how close you were to slipping under, as it were.
Mhm.
Thank goodness.
As your hands shake and your knees barely hold your weight up. There's intense burning within your lungs as your nostrils are inflamed. Everything just kind of hurts.
Koval's gonna fall onto his back and just kind of relax and sprawl out.
Rock's holding onto Cobalt, and he's looking at him. And he says, "You tell everybody of this."
Okay, I guess he doesn't fall onto his back then. He's just held up by Rock.
All
And
right.
nobody looks around and wonders, hey, where's the lizard?
Sort of speaking of such. The cannons, now loaded with a special payload,
Oh,
are
geez.
going to fire, having
Oh,
now
no.
reloaded and prepared to. Yeah. I don't think there's any real way you could dodge this info, so we're going to leave it up to luck.
I mean,
Uh,
I am behind several layers of wall and bone, or
Yes,
flesh and bone.
that is true. But these are quite powerful shots, and the chest is kind of angling up as the kraken is contracting a bit, is almost writhing.
The influence is backfired.
A little bit.
Yeah, I guess we
maybe.
didn't think about the Kraken dying this quickly.
Whoa.
I sort of went all out.
Not quickly, but like this early in the session.
Fair enough. Go ahead and roll a d20. Just a straight
Okay.
d20. It's going to hit you on a 1 to 5. There you go. As the cannons fire, hit, and a hit.
Of course.
As the
Practically point blank.
ship is almost shunted a few feet to the right as all 3 cannons fire. The point of impact sort of vibrating.
We're getting
As,
a lot of background
he
sound.
muted himself. As the point of impact, for a brief moment, almost sort of vibrates as something enters the kraken's flesh. But a brief moment later, there's 3 distinct and gigantic bubbles in the flesh that quickly ripple outwards and just completely explode outwards. Infel, the intense pressure on other parts of the body are basically squeezing down on you and force you out as you shoot out into the water. As everyone sees from one of the small holes, Infel is shot out at quite a decent speed. Could you give me a acrobatics check? All right, which way are you going?
Who
As
knows?
Infel, you are basically shot across the deck, crashing through a small section of railing that was still intact, sliding and ending up slamming your back into the other side of the railings, completely covered in blood.
I am crimson.
Exactly. Rock, you would see this. Everyone sees
Rockrock
it.
approves of this.
As the kraken, now holy, is going
It's
to.
holy?
Yeah, it's got lots of holes in
I love how
Oh.
Dova like legitimately waited for a response before continuing.
it. As there is still the glowing white blade lodged in its forehead, if anyone wants to deal with that. As
I
claws
probably will.
slowly going limp are going to start retreating back from the boat, bringing quite a bit of debris with it, and sort of slowly sinking into the sea. We are now out of initiative.
I want its teeth and carcass.
Give me
Cobalt,
back my
remains,
sword.
Cobalt
give it-
has fallen asleep against while being held up by Rock.
You've never seen someone fall asleep standing up.
Well, standing
Well,
up being
Rock,
relative.
yeah.
Yeah. Standing up
Um,
while leaning up on the living rock.
Slightly
The-
impressed.
The kraken is going to start slowly sinking back into the waves.
I'm gonna get up. Everything hurts, and some of this might be my own blood. But give me back that sword. It's mine, not yours.
As
El-
you. Come on.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to click on something and it wasn't working for some reason.
Ah.
As you sort of make your way over to the kraken, the blade itself is out of reach at the moment, but the kraken's corpse is still slightly floating up on the surface.
Well, time to jump.
Could you get a acrobatics check, please?
Okay.
It's good enough. As you fall the roughly 20 feet directly onto the carapace with a loud thumping noise, you reach over, grip your sword, and with a very hearty pull, wrench it out of the skull. The remaining blood on the blade boils off after a few moments as you sort of hold it up. And slowly, the clouds begin to recede, and the torrential downpour and almost roiling sea begins to calm.
So I'm on its head.
You're what?
Is its mouth underwater?
Its mouth is now underwater. As it's almost like a boat or sort of like a raft. Up to about where its tentacles emerge from the body is still above water, but it's floating rather low in it.
I'm gonna swim down and get Rock a present.
All right. Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Okay. Survive.
There we go. I'm assuming you have the knife to do it with.
I do.
All right.
Or well, I have a dagger.
As you reach up, grabbing one of the forearm length teeth, and they're one of your forearms, so it's pretty dang long, maybe a foot, 2 feet. These very, very large, sharp teeth, and you, with your sword, wrench it out with a almost like a sickening, crunching noise, leaving the root mostly intact.
Well, I got my sword. I'm just gonna look at the kraken and say, my only regret is that I can't take more of your bones. And I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna just head on up to the boat.
As you make your way back up towards the boat, you are now clean of the blood. Although as the storm calms and the moon reemerges, you notice in the light there's this strange oily film kind of drifting off from the corpse of the kraken.
Hmm.
And as more and more time goes on, that film, almost like that oil slick, continues to grow. And you notice that tips of the tentacles and bits of the pieces of the skin are almost sloughing off and dissolving into the water. Rock, Eric's Cobalt. Doing it?
Yes.
Kale is gonna come back onto the ship, and I will revert him back to normal. And then just survey my poor ship.
I am asleep in Rockrick's arms.
I'm going to raise my hand for the gargoyle.
Raise your hand for the gargoyle.
Yes.
All right. As the do you need to remain conscious for these constructs to stay alive, Cobalt?
I just don't need to be. I just don't need to be dead.
There is.
Ah.
There is.
As the gargoyle climbs up the side, making a kind of a quiet chimping noise like a monkey.
It's got its work cut out for it because I'm a little heavier with that giant tooth.
Mm. But yeah, it slowly sort of pulls you up the side, grabbing on with its claws on the ends of its wings as well as its claws themselves, and eventually brings you up the side of the vessel.
I'm gonna land and say, "All right, everyone, gather around. It's time for the healing. Bring all the injured."
I'm gently carrying Cobalt.
I'm gonna offer him the tooth. You are great.
I'm gonna wrap my tail around the tooth and drag the tooth and Cobalt down to the wagon.
All right.
Wait, hold on. I can help. All injured, gather around. Actually, I'll call out to all who have sustained injury. Come to the top deck.
A few of the kobolds who were below decks sort of heard your offer and have made their way up. Most of their injuries are fairly minor, having already been patched up, but they would probably need more attention from any sort of magical healer.
Well, I'm assuming everyone's gathering around because I'm casting Vitality.
Very nice. And what exactly does that do?
Healing radius reaches out of me from 30 feet until the end of the spell. All creatures, including myself, regain 2d6 hit points per round, and it lasts for a minute.
Excellent. I think that would just basically heal them up after a minute. Heal everyone up, actually. So I think this would be an excellent time to have a short little break.
Okay.
Big thing dead, cause for celebration in itself. B, I have to go to the bathroom. And C,
Also, cause for celebration.
well, maybe. But you guys are now level 12.
Woot woot.
After quite a long time of not leveling up, you now level up again, finally. And it has been very, very well earned. Where the heck did Zim go?
But this means I have to do work.
Hey, you haven't had
Yeah.
to do work in forever.
Fine.
It's been a while since you've had to do this work.
Alright, guys, we are on intermission. We will be right back. Do consider checking out the description on the channel while you're waiting. We've got lots of ways that you can support the channel. Do consider helping out with the Kraken insurance. I think we're going to definitely need some repairs to the ship after all that, but otherwise...
Again.
We'll be right back. Hello once again, everyone, and good to see you all still here. Thanks for sticking around. We are back with Rooms and Reptiles, Dungeons and Dragons. Right before the break, we finished off the Kraken, and we reached level 12. Do our cantrips go up this level?
It would depend on
they leveled up at level 11.
Yeah.
And no, cantrips are actually affected at your total level, not at your caster level.
Yeah, they are. Otherwise, things like Magic Initiate would be entirely useless.
But the actual like damage and effects of the cantrips, not how many cantrips you know.
Oh,
I thought
yes,
you were talking
correct.
about that because
No,
that
it's
is
the
definitely
damage.
on the class.
Cantrip damage.
Cantrip damage is total level.
Yeah,
Which
and we
is
just
exactly why Rock gets to roll 3 attacks for his Eldritch Blast.
got a boost at level 11. I don't know if we get another one. It might be at level 14.
At level 17.
17. Okay, cool.
It's a very useful move to have for Rock. When those times he can't throw his axe.
Yeah.
Anyways, what are we doing?
Well, that's up to you right now. The sort of as the moon starts to return, you all sort of surrounding Enfell feel a calm, soothing sensation. As just sort of waves of a soothing, calm radiance emanate outwards from him.
Hey, Eric, roll 20d6.
Doing what?
Healing.
Roll 20d6.
Why 20?
10 rounds of 2d6.
As you heal for
Heal
that much.
Everything within 30 feet of me heals pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Except the ship.
I know. I'm going to survey the damage. Has the storm subsided, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
And you notice that the Kraken's corpse is slowly just shedding into the water. There's a large, almost like an oil slick, around the area where the corpse still is there, but it looks quite nasty.
Where's Istal?
Isol is still at the helm. I assume you eventually go back up towards her.
I would.
Yes.
I'm gonna head up there, yelling for kobolds to survey the ship as well as the sailors themselves. Get a damage report to me.
As you walk up there, she slowly lets go of the wheel and takes a few steps forward and leans on the railing that overlooks the ship. She kind of leans back, taking a very, very deep breath, holding it in for a good while, and slowly exhaling. I think that's just what I needed.
Well, good. Thank you for your assistance.
Ain't nothing to it. I figure my ship needs me, especially when something like that happens. Speaking of,
Your ship.
she kind of rolls her head and sighs. Yeah, I know. But I feel as though you'd want me to be steering during the storm anyways.
Yes. The offer for you to be first mate still stands.
And I'm still thinking about it. Maybe it's my... Maybe it's just something else. Maybe it's pride. Can't
Maybe
get
it's
myself
what?
to stomach the idea of being under someone else. Something like that.
I can understand that. But we're doing a good job taking care of the ship. Well,
She
outside of external
she kind of moves her head
influence.
to the left.
We're doing
Yeah.
a great job of taking care of the ship.
Ship is-
Please don't turn your
Ship
head.
is actively
It's sinking.
ship
at
is
least-
actively sinking.
You hear a cannon shot followed by splintering wood from somewhere within the ship.
One of the sails is burning.
There's an explosion.
Are they really?
No,
Okay.
it's fairly calm. The sails are quite tattered. There's a lot of the left side that's been kind of bent under the weight of the kraken, as well as a lot of splintering. Though most of the structural components are still intact, so it looks to just be superficial stuff. You think back and kind of say to yourself, if that kraken had hit at full speed, there would have probably been a lot more damage.
Good. I saved the entire ship. Let's see the lizard folk do that.
So you think. As Ayastal seems to settle into her schedule of sort of watching the horizon.
Are you trying to compete with him?
It's because he's tall, isn't it?
That's gotta be it. Sorry, I can't help but look down on you.
Literally. He's
No.
short, so I kind of... He has to look down.
I
Cobalt
am
looks
not
up to
bothered by
himself.
his height. I am bothered
Cobalt
by
looks up-
this guy coming on and trying to take over my job.
Of what?
Just got you there.
Healing.
I
Running
didn't
the
see you
sheep.
doing it.
I mean,
People who
in specific situations.
And yet I healed you, Infel, yourself.
Yeah, I was about to say, you guys are good at healing in specific situations. Because of that spell, Infel is good at healing, like, outside of combat, like in between fights. And then with heal, you're better at healing combat. And healing word. And I think you also have cure wounds?
Cure wounds. I have mass cure wounds. I have healing word. I have heal.
Exactly. Those are all quick. But outside of combat, Infel has one that heals a 20d6 to everyone within the vicinity. It just takes a long time.
Is that
Which
spell?
is why it's healing aura, which is a paladin only one.
Oh.
Aura of vitality.
Yeah, aura vitality, thank you. It heals 2d6 to everyone within a range for a minute per turn. So like I said, you both have those areas you're good at when it comes to healing.
This only heals one creature per turn. You can use a bonus action to cause one creature in the aura, including you, to regain 2d6 hit points.
Is that right? This is significantly worse than I thought it was.
I mean, it's
Teacher,
still a fantastic spell.
Teacher, do we have to turn in our homework today?
Piggy boy.
Nah, I thought that was the case, but I had forgotten about that spell entirely.
I thought that's how it worked. Oh well.
I was gonna say, that is one hell of an incredible spell.
Oh no, I mean it makes sense for for an outside of combat thing.
Well, even actually, I mean, I see its use very well in combat.
It's also concentration though.
Well, it's still very useful. It's basically like a regenerate kind of thing. It's just healing over time, and every turn you get to heal somebody for 2d6.
So, what is all this noise?
Yeah, we've got a lot of
like-
background noise from you, Digi.
So, clerics get this spell called Beacon of Hope, which, they target, I think, up to 6 people. And whenever someone would make a death saving throw, they make it with advantage. And whenever someone would gain healing, they get max healing. So that works really well with Aura Vitality, because then it's just 12 hit points each turn.
It's a good spell, don't get me wrong. Just not as powerful as you thought it was.
And why do you insist on fighting me?
Because they're insisting that you are better at healing. Which isn't the case.
You're very stuck at this point.
You're jealous.
Yes, I am very stubborn.
I said jealous.
The thing is, Cobalt, I have nothing to be jealous about.
How we settle this is Rock will get in the ring, start bashing his head, and you two have a heel off.
Well, jealousy is defined as the fear of someone taking something away from you. So I think you're jealous. You're not envious, which is a common mix-up of the words.
Well, now that information has been cleared up, I have no reason to be jealous anymore. I know he can't.
Oh, there you go. You are no longer jealous, but you were.
He left.
Yeah, I heard him.
He said he'll be back in like 40 minutes. His character's just gonna be praying.
Alright.
Probably that background noise we were hearing.
Yeah. So, as calm begins to settle on the ship once more, a slight breeze starts to sort of re-emerge from the sudden calmness that's arisen. The calm, normal breeze.
I'm gonna go consult my maps, and I know Delthuntal was an option for repairs, but what about that Mortalkin?
The Mortalkin? Let me look at the map.
Basically, we need to get some repairs done, and I'd rather move forward rather than backward.
Okay.
Could probably go for Escalante. Further to the east, if the ship could make that.
Cobalt is gonna start using mending on the sails. Also, he wakes up eventually, and he's gonna start mending the sails.
Alright.
Additionally, hey Eric's,
Mm-hmm.
why not offer Iastall the position of permanent I don't know what's the word called? It's where they're the ones who steer the ship.
Helmsman.
Thank you. As opposed to having the first mate do it.
Well, I
obviously better at
could,
stealing
but
a
it would
ship.
still be under me, and I mean,
But it wouldn't. But when you say first mate, you're implying that like you're second banana. If you just say, okay, you're steering the ship, then it's, it sounds less bad, is what I'm trying to say.
it's not a bad idea. I just think that helmsman would kind of give a even lower position.
Well, then, I don't know, man. I suggest you try it out, but like, you're obviously not gonna let her be anything close to a captain.
It's up to you.
First mate is as close to a captain as you can possibly get.
And well, I'm saying you're not gonna let her be captain under any circumstances. So like, trying anything else, I guess.
You make me sound like a bad guy because I want to keep going with the ship.
I mean, it's obvious that the only thing she's gonna be happy with is being a captain. And she does have more experience than you do. But I mean, it's not my choice. So what are we doing? You can't have dead air in the stream.
So, the city of Mordilkin. Could you give me a history check?
Everyone?
No, just Eric's. You've kind of heard of it before. You're not exactly sure, but it might be a rather large city.
What about
You've heard that there are quite a few mages guilds there.
what about Escalante?
Escalante?
Yes.
Escalante is indeed a coastal city, though you have definitely heard rumors that it's still rebuilding after being besieged by elementals of some sort.
All right, we will sail for Mordilcan, or that place.
All right.
During the way, I will be casting Mending on various parts of the ship.
Okay. Just kind of getting the repair costs down and such. You
Yeah.
do manage to make it into the actual port without much. Without much incident. I off the push talk button early. And eventually, you start to see these large towers on the horizon in the port. In the city, of course, and there's a rather large wall surrounding the city proper with some small buildings just outside that. You're guided into port by the harbor vessels, and for brevity's sake, you are given a small fee for docking, of course, and using the port services of 30 gold pieces. And I'm guessing you would request for a shipwright of some sort?
Yeah. Did I ever, complete my training on that, or...
You're not quite a journeyman. You don't have the experience for that yet, but you do have quite a good amount of actual, book training and in the theory, in regards to theory and stuff.
Alright, well, I will look for one that would be willing to train me further.
Alright.
While also repairing the ship.
Alright. Go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Jeez.
Alright. You don't manage to find one that would let you actually work alongside them, but you found one that would just let you watch. They don't seem to be very trustful. In fact, they seem to be almost paranoid. And you do manage to talk down the price of the repairs to only 400 gold pieces.
I'll throw in another 100 if they'll let me actually get more hands-on experience.
Alright. He sort of begrudgingly agrees and starts to let you sort of work alongside him for a little while.
Awesome.
Alright. Repairs should take around 3 or 4 days. What are you guys going to be doing in that time?
Do I have any cash?
What you said? The town has mages.
Sorry?
From the kraken battle to town, how many days was that?
It's been about 5 days. Actually, no, it's been about 6 days.
I'm keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
He would be the one thing would do is he would take care of his plant and just spend some time with Sora.
All right. Cobalt, what are you doing?
Okay, so what kind of shops does this place have?
This place is almost steeped with magical tradition. As you walk around the city, you see small bits of mundane magic. Street lights that are lit with a small magical flame instead of with a candle or a torch. Every so often you see one of the people who's obviously in the Mages Guild, some of them being followed by a floating array of books. You see near what looks to be the castle, or the sort of the hold, a carriage that's not being drawn by any horses. There's a small sort of blue light on a small protrusion to the front, making a small whining noise. It's sort of pulled forward by a small pixie in a cage.
Hey, Dova, quick question.
Yeah?
Could you try to give us a long rest? Because
Oh,
I should have
yeah.
2 level 6 spell slots by now, and it's only showing me 1.
Sure. There we go.
No, it still only says I have 1.
You add it manually.
I only have one 6th level spell slot at level 12.
I'm a level 11.
Shows you as having a level 6 in the spell slots in your ability or your action section.
Yeah, I should have 2.
No,
You're
we
a
only have
level-
one.
No, you're right. Then how did I have a level 6 spell slot before?
Because we got one at level... Our spell slots did not
Oh.
change with level 12. At all.
Really?
Cobalt's a level 11 wizard.
No. Because sorcerer is a full mage, it still counts as being one
Oh, right.
class. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, he still has the same number of spell slots. Also, Weasels, thank you so much for helping us clear that kraken insurance donation goals. Thank you so much.
You're right. Our spell slots don't go up. We don't get another level 6 spell slot until level 19.
Gotta be smart with them now.
This is why I like mana bars instead of spell slots.
Yeah, but mana bars would be difficult to keep track of in D&D. It would really complicate it.
No, the DM's guide has a whole thing for mana bars instead of spell slots.
It's basically a shared pool that you pull levels out of for spells.
You have basically the same amount of casting power. Like the default spell slots, if you converted all spell slots into spell points, then you'd have this then be the exact same. The only difference is you can cast more higher level spell slots with a mana bar.
Would be cool.
What was I looking for? So this place is
But we can
very heavily.
discuss that later.
Yeah, this place is very heavily magic based, right?
Much more so than other cities, yes.
All right, give me a minute to decide on what I'm going to be doing.
Eric's. As you are moving through and continuing your repairs, you come across a crushed-in compartment, and after removing the wood, after sort of prying all the splintered wood out of it, the various bits of bone and flesh from the kraken that are still somehow intact, you come across a waterlogged, barnacle-encrusted chest. It's rather small for a chest, maybe twice the size of a shoebox or so, with a waterlogged, corroded and barnacle-encrusted lock on it as well.
I will. Can I carry it to my cabin?
You absolutely can. It's somewhat heavy, and you have to use both hands and sort of stumble up the stairs, but you eventually do get up there.
I'll grab Raku to help me because, well, he's got to. I mean, I can probably break it off, but I'll have him, unlock it. I also do still have that strong box from the other ship, from the Annabelle, that I need to
yes.
get him to unlock as well because he wasn't here the week that we got it.
All right.
So, since he's not here, can I just go ahead and have him do his thing? We're unlocking it.
Yeah. He'll start to take care of his thing. And Rocker realized that I forgot that the packed boon is something that you choose. I could have sworn it was just something that happened. Let me take a look at him for you.
Packed boon, as in what is packed is based off of?
No, it's a separate thing.
Oh, I thought it was the book or the weapon or the familiar.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to choose one of
it's
those three.
great. Oh, you can also make a particular weapon that you already own a packed weapon.
I believe the packed weapon has to start off as non-magical, though.
Yeah, and that doesn't go well with his axe.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh wait, is it magical?
It is.
Oh, I thought it was just like made of fancy metals and stuff.
No, it's got recall on it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that made it a magic thing.
Oh, never mind.
Oh yeah, it doesn't.
And it's part silver.
Oh, it has to be a magic weapon to be a packed weapon. You can transform one magic weapon into your packed weapon by performing a special ritual while you hold the weapon. So yeah, there you go.
Mm,
What?
Dova, can I
No.
just say I love you for the level 2 spell you chose?
She felt as though it was necessary.
I completely agree.
You can't affect an artifact or sentient weapon in this way. And you can banish it into an extra dimensional space while you're not using it.
So, actually, yes, you would have that. How do I do that? Yes, you are given the Pact of the Tome. So it's
Ooh.
basically 3 cantrips from the Warlock spell list that you can then just have at all times.
Is he not picking?
As
Or
long
did he
as you
pick the tome?
As long as you have the tome equipped.
From the warlock or from any class? Because it says any classes.
From any class, yes.
Ooh. Would you like
And
to help?
So on one of the first nights after the fight with the kraken, you're preparing for bed. You're watering the plant, of course, and you come across a book on your nightstand. You don't remember putting it there, and you've never seen it before in your life, and the cover is this somewhat dark purplish vellum. This super very soft material. As you kind of run your hand over the cover, your claws, your entire body almost shivers. As you hear Sora in your mind say, a small bit of a gift for you after all of your service. The book in front of you contains many magical secrets, though only a few you might choose to understand. I advise you look through them and decide which ones you want to comprehend fully.
I smile noddingly, giving her very extremely happy, and tell her it's like, well, you're more than worth it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and one more thing. Brace yourself. I've gotten word that a certain someone was rather pleased with your actions and might congratulate you in his own special way.
I tilt my head and cock my eyebrow.
As she sort of just disappears from your awareness. Sort of just receding into the back of the mind as she always does. Alright. And you get the sense that you get to choose exactly what kind of magics you want to obtain. Whereas before she just kind of gave you these powers, now you're getting a little bit of agency.
Ooh.
Would you like some off-stream help to decide these spells?
Pins. But Rock's gonna spend the rest of his night looking through the book.
One moment, I gotta grab something from my room.
Abu Easels, I just noticed your message with your donation. So apparently Zell found papers for Kraken insurance below the deck. So can I have my money back, Tova? He can bill the insurance company.
Very well. That makes sense. In a very strange, twisted way.
Woohoo!
So you regain the 400 gold as the 100 used to sort
Yeah.
of bribe him is still lost.
Yeah, I figured. I can imagine Iastol being like, I knew that would pay off one day.
That's almost exactly what happens. As you're sort of looking it over in the captain's quarters, she kind of bobs her head in and she just kind of claps her hands and just kind of points at you and says, I was looking for that. Where'd you find it? And Zell just kind of looking a little bit intimidated, kind of just shrugs. As Iastol just kind of proud of herself beyond words, just kind of almost pumps her arm and makes her way back up to the forecastle. Heavy feet loudly thumping on the stairs and the floor directly above you.
In my mind, it's kind of like the volcano insurance. Nowhere near a volcano.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially
There's
since, I mean, it was an airship, so why would she need it?
So,
They said I was crazy.
eventually, with a heavy cracking noise as the barnacles finally give way, the chest found within the walls of the ship is finally open, and within are nothing but what look to be a few almost shimmering emerald-colored cards.
Emerald-colored cards?
Looks to be 3 in total, with a sort of really waterlogged, very worn out inner padding of red velvet. The cards, in particular,
How big are they?
about the size of a little smaller than regular playing cards.
So these 3 alone were in this somewhat large chest.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of padding around them. Could you give me an investigation check?
Yeah.
With advantage, considering. There's got to be a hidden compartment on here. There's just way too much empty space in this thing, and you can't manage to find exactly how to get into it.
Can
You can take it to Cobalt with
Raku do it?
Sure.
I mean, he was the one that opened it, so...
Yeah.
You have access to his sheet, so...
Oh, right. Come on. There we go. Investigation. Wow. That's a big modifier.
Kind of why I asked for him to do it.
Yeah, it's taking a steel shim. He kind of just, without words, just kind of takes it from you and stabs the shim into the side of one of the walls and pries off and just continues to chip away at it until eventually unearthing a small hidden compartment containing a few bundles of shiny silver coins. Not silver, but platinum, of course. After counting them up and tallying them up, there are 200 platinum coins.
Will you add those to the treasure? Because I would split them between the party. And of course Shrek. Shrek. Well, Shrek's inventory.
Hmm.
And the
All
strong box from Annabelle.
All right. As you don't have to work too hard to get that open, and you in fact find another one of those cards in there. The cards seem to be fairly uniform. They look almost identical to regular playing cards, aside from being almost like a shimmering emerald color. On one side, they're sort of iridescent and almost holographic. They sort of shimmer when you bring them up to the light and move them around.
Do you mean blue ones?
Like a sort of more of a turquoise color.
Okay, because emerald's usually a bright green.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking
That was
wrong.
throwing me off so much.
more of a color.
I wonder if
As-
he's actually in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can finally accept that one.
Yeah. I think didn't I tell you I accepted it?
I don't remember you saying that it was actually accepted, so.
Oh, and I also have a deck of cards for this.
Oh joy. I'm going to... was there anything else in the strong box?
In the second strong box, yes, in fact. There are a few keys. About 3. They seem to be 2 random things. They're all of different design and shape.
Presumably
There's
the
also
ship that we got him from.
Probably. There's also a small roll, which sort of unrolling it reveals it to be looks to be like an IOU or a bond to the city that you actually came from, Delthuntal, for 20 silver pieces or a resupply of 1 week's food and supplies for the ship's occupants. And there's also a handful of gold and silver coins. I'll get that all noted down in the party inventory thing. Not many though, other than the card.
Hey guys,
Card
what
seems
up?
to be the only interesting thing. Not much at the moment.
Also, I will not be able to rejoin Fantasy Grounds for the moment.
Are you on your phone?
Yes, I am.
That shouldn't be a problem. I'm not going to have any big or complicated things happen for the rest of the session. Considering that you've been in
Right.
combat for literally like 3 sessions.
Unless Rock does something stupid.
Yeah. Hmm.
So we're at a city now?
Yes, you are now docked in the city of Mordulkin. And by the way, the cards are as follows. The 2 of clubs, the 8 of diamonds, the 6 of hearts, and the Jack of hearts. And looking at the Jack, the drawing is, a card, someone facing to the side, but the face has been replaced with looks like a cat, maybe. You're not exactly sure who this is supposed to represent.
Is this a partial deck of illusions?
As far as you know, no.
Khajiit
guess
has
identify
wares
on it?
if you have card.
Mm-hmm. You certainly can.
Well, he's not with me right now, so he doesn't know that these exist.
That's true. You would not know about these cards
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
why am I not with
Cobalt.
you?
because you
Off
were
in the
kind of
city
looking
somewhere.
around the city at the moment. This is during your time where you're just kind of looking around.
Okay then.
I will say it's a bit of a shame we didn't get a lot of that kraken. Even if the flesh did melt, I could have done something pretty cool with them bones.
Hey, Dove, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is attack action? If you have 2 attack actions, can you use it twice?
That's an excellent question. What cantrip is it?
Specifically, like things like Green Flame Blade or Booming Blade, and I think there's another one. Like, as part of casting the spell, you make a melee attack, and then it does stuff with the melee attack.
In that case, let me see. Casting time, 1 action. There you go. So it would be the action you're taking is casting the spell. As a part of casting the spell, you make a melee attack. That's not a separate action or a part of your previous action. It's just a part of the spell that you're casting as an action.
Okay.
But yeah,
Could you list off those cards again for me?
sure. And I have them still in my hand right here. The 2 of clubs,
Alright.
8 of diamonds,
Alright.
6, and the jack of hearts.
Alright. So as of right now, we have no idea what these do, correct?
No clue.
For those coins, go ahead and just distribute them if you could.
Alright.
I'll eventually be distributing them anyways.
Alright.
Alright,
Yes,
the
each of you
excess-
get 1 gold, 33 platinum, and 5 silver.
I'll add the excess
help
to
them.
Shrek.
Would you explain where the money came from, Eric's?
Yes.
It came from a waterlogged, barnacle-encrusted chest that was found lodged into one of the crushed sections of the ship. It was found in a hidden compartment within that chest.
A present from the kraken, I guess.
Apparently.
You can go ahead and remove those other coins there, Dova.
Okay.
It's nice to have a party place for collecting money, you know?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, the next card would have been an ace.
I'm surprised you're sharing the wealth with me.
Well, you did your work as part of the stuff on the ship and whatnot, so... Hello?
Oh, sorry. As you pick up the cards, you feel a slight, almost a resonance within them. It doesn't feel particularly dangerous, but you can't help but yawning. You grab onto it, but that feeling of drowsiness fades away fairly quickly. As I yawn in real life. Just talking about it, I swear to God.
I will pocket them away in my inventory for the time being.
All right.
We'll figure those out when the ship is repaired and everybody's good to go.
Excellent. Cobalt, have you figured out exactly what you're going to be doing?
Yes. Is there any place I can... I'm looking for more spells that I can add to my spell book, basically.
All right. You would actually find a for magical learning or sort of spell sharing services called the Enchanting Incantation. It's a round building, almost like a tower, but much more squat. And it's basically what you learn to be is a service for wizards and various mages to congregate and share their achievements with one another. The way that it works is that you basically pay a fee to enter into their sort of records. Then you sort of supply them with requests. Maybe a spell that turns apples into oranges. Then they keep track of that. And whenever they find someone who has that, they sort of arrange for you to meet and exchange gold and information, of course. The building itself seems to function as a concourse for that. And actually, there is indeed a teleportation circle here.
Ooh.
Sort of inlaid into the floor. It's very well traveled and used. It's been... You can tell that the engravings are worn quite heavily, but still usable for quite a long time.
Okay. And can I just go ahead and memorize that while I'm here?
Yeah.
Sweet. Add that to my notes. And yes, I'm very willing to do this whole thing.
All right. There's actually an application process for becoming a provider as well.
Can I make money doing that?
That's exactly what they explained to you. If
Heck yeah.
someone wants to learn the spells that you know, then yes. It's basically a Craigslist for magic spells. That's my best comparison to how this works. They're basically the middleman. They support organizing it all and take a cut out of every single time that you pay.
And what's this place called?
The Enchanting Incantation. You can't help but notice that the name is somewhat lacking
What a
in
bad
describing
name.
exactly what they do. Yeah, I know, right? It seems to be like one of the biggest complaints that people have about the place.
Man, this
Like,
place.
they can always think of such a better name, but nobody has the power nor the will to change all the signs. Or all the stationery. Or the business cards. They also have some coins with the name on it.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to go through this application process.
Alright.
And while they're processing it, I want to see if I can find some people with spells.
Alright. What sort of spells are you looking for?
There are a few specific ones I want.
Alright.
I guess starting at lower levels. Um,
First, describe it in character. Like, tell me what sort of spells is Cobalt looking for? Like, he might have heard of the actual names, but he would probably be going more for effects.
I want a spell that lets me carry heavy stuff.
The sort of person sort of writing down the paper kind of looks you up and down, just kind of nods silently.
His
Good choice.
tail's wagging excitedly.
Is that it? More?
Oh yes, more.
Yep. Keep going.
Oh, I need a spell that helps keep meat fresh and bodies, possibly.
The desk attendant kind of raises her eyebrows and looks at you for a moment.
One that helps me and my friends breathe underwater.
She continues.
One that lets us communicate with our minds,
Mm-hmm.
and one that lets me summon items from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Right, and now that that's done, might I get a description of your portfolio as well?
I specialize in conjuration magic
Ah.
and teleportation.
Are you able to give a demonstration at this time?
Sure. And then I'm gonna cast Arcane Gate.
All right.
And
Just sort of leading across the room.
Yep, and then I'm gonna conjure, I don't know, a pebble or like an apple and throw it through the gate.
All right. As the almost glowing apple kind of thumps as it passes through the gate. Basically, two doorways connected by a twirling, spiraling thread that kind of meanders through the air. As it slaps into the ground on the other side, there's a small fizzling noise as a little bit of it kind of disintegrates, but it remains mostly intact.
I'm also gonna jump through it myself.
All right.
And like stick half my body through it to kind of show off.
All right. She kind of looks at you. She nods. You can hear she kind of mumbles something to sort of what looks to be maybe her apprentice. Sort of a small-looking man, young. It's that down. Any other knowledge that you might be willing to share with any potential applicants?
I can give tips on golem making.
She kind of thinks it over in her head, sort of shaking it about, and eventually does write something down.
I can give her my spell book that lasts for an hour if she wants to glance through it.
Are you... Oh, sorry.
The handwriting might be a little poor, though.
As you kind of hold it up, offering to her, she kind of says, we don't look directly into others' portfolios. It's somewhat rude. For example, there may be secrets in there that you don't want anybody to know. And while we do like that information getting out, we do hold a little bit of respect towards your privacy.
Okay.
We do have, if you are able to stay for a while, we can get everything sorted out for you and of what you're able to share.
Alright, let's do that then.
As you spend about 3 or so hours just going through all the stuff that you have, all the stuff that you're willing to share, and if you want to, you can go ahead and just write that up and send that to me later. Just of all the spells that you're willing to give out to people for a fee.
Okay.
He also explains to you that you are going to set the price, but the price that you set might not always be accepted by the buyer.
Okay.
In addition, the use of the teleporter to conduct business as well as their services will enact a fee upon any transactions that occur within the tower, as well as a small fee that will be deducted yearly while the service is being used, which can be canceled upon a request, just a letter.
Okay. Works for me.
All right. And they do inform you that whenever a suitable match is found, whether to give knowledge or to receive knowledge.
Okay. I haven't started off was able to make magic that. Yeah, that's true. They make glyphs that when they're red they explode. That's pretty fun.
What does this small note say? Explosion.
What does this small piece of paper say? I have written an explosive rune on this paper.
Activate when somebody reads this paper.
Exactly. Alright, as you head out, it is now evening time, and you kind of just make your way back to your ship, almost exhausted from the bureaucratic process. But it is a super cool place to be. And you do have the... Yeah, you did write down that you have the teleportation circle.
Yes.
Okay.
I have it saved in my list of teleportation circles.
Excellent. Infil, are you going to be doing anything special?
Well, we're in town. How long are we going to be in town?
Maybe like 3 days.
Maybe longer, depending on how we're feeling, I guess.
I mean, if you want to stay longer, I'm not going to stop you.
I'm alright, but I'm thinking I'll probably hang with Kobold.
All right. As you finish up your prayers, Kobold eventually does return from the town. In your prayers, in your meditative session, Saloon spoke to you. She said, "Well, that was quite a scrape, my dear. It's good to see that you're resilient. Stand up to her.
I will stand up to her, though I admit I was a little less dignified than I would have liked toward the end.
Oh, I believe it's fine. After all, the beast itself did much, much worse in a much less dignified fashion, don't you think?"
I suppose, but we must make an effort to separate ourselves from those we put down.
Yes, yes. There are those who are beyond any sort of... Well, they don't deserve to be graced with any sort of humanity, I guess. This is not the way a god should be talking.
Yeah, well, you can't have 3 voices at once, so it's kind of difficult to perfectly mimic what a god would sound like.
Yeah. After a little bit of silence, she eventually does speak. "Your companions are searching for somebody. And while I might not be able to lead them to exactly where, there are rumors, mumblings of someone who might know."
Will you be granting us advice then? Your divine counsel?
"Yes, I shall. I cannot tell you, again, as I said before, I cannot tell you exactly who it is, or why, or how. But I know that they are on Chult, the blasted continent that refuses my grace, whose canopies shield them from my view."
Does Infil know Chult?
Give me a history check. Going by rumors, you know that it's a rather harsh island, sort of a jungle island on the off the southwestern coast of the continent of Faerun. Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
You can't give a
penetrating.
roll. Sorry. I shall do it for you. There you are. I was like, why isn't he rolling? All right, you rolled a 19. Very nice. Yes, actually. During your adventuring guild times, there was actually a small group of people who had gone to Chult before on a small expedition to a tomb that was rumored to be there, and that was actually there, but had been raided before, so the haul was relatively paltry. Um, Chult is a savage place, to say the least. Insects the size of dogs, ravenous cannibalistic tribes, um, beasts. There's rumors of multiple sort of interned there at some point, leaving their lairs, still full of vicious traps and various undead. All in all, a very dangerous but also rewarding place to some.
It's the place with the Cobalt Mountains, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shoot, Sully beat us off of the Cobalt Mountains. Well, Intel will nod and ponder this. I could hardly think of a more dangerous location. And he's surviving.
Yes. The one you look for is not among us yet. Though he's also not among you.
Not among. Well,
Yes, he's somewhere in between. Spoke to your compatriot and to listen for him, to hear his voice among the chaos. And once in a moon-filled night, I would hear him, along with someone who reminds me of the construct on board. A strange urgency to their voice, though I cannot understand what it might be. But those voices, whenever I do hear them, plain briefly before disappear between planes.
well. I thank you for your divine assistance. And
Anything for those who might thrust a thorn into the side of, oh, that which I despise.
indeed, if we would drop our manners for just a second, the bitch queen of the sea.
A fitting description cannot be found elsewhere. Sorry, did you say something else?
Indeed, it cannot.
All
I
right.
must admit, though,
Mhm.
there is a odd enjoyment in our talks.
Oh yes,
Because
I've come to enjoy your aid that you've been rendering unto me. Although my awareness must go somewhere else, as of course I am needed somewhere else.
of course, you've got so many divine duties to attend to.
Hmm.
I can't take all of your time.
Hmm. Now farewell, Infel.
Farewell for now. I gotta say,
As her awareness fades. Or your sort of sense of watching Sorry.
Her presence.
Exactly. That's the better word. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, heck, a paladin getting casual with a goddess. Who would have thought?
Now you just need to seduce her.
He will do no such thing.
I don't know. Paladins are known to be pretty charismatic.
Exactly.
Very charismatic.
There is nothing.
That's Sully.
No. Oh, Rock. Actually, the next day, Rock. Basically, as you're waking up, you are almost shaken out of bed with a very, very loud voice. The one which you've spoken to before. Namely, Torm. Congratulations! Such a fantastical victory cannot go uncongratulated. Vanquishing a beast such as that is something that deserves praise. How do you feel?
Rock is clung to the ceiling.
It's like a cat.
Yep. Just hanging up. He's gonna say, more proud and victorious than I can put words into.
Good. When I chose you, or when you chose me, I forget. I knew I'd see something good in you. Consider the debt paid. As the idol, the pendant of Torm, its grasp on your neck kind of loosens, as you feel a very comforting warmth from it. You also start to feel that unease in the back of your mind, that sort of a sickly sensation, start to fade.
Who knew to please Torm? I just had to be myself.
If there was a god for you, it's him.
You have a feeling that there's probably another reason that he said this, but that works too.
I'm gonna crawl down the wall.
Spider rock. Spider rock.
I saw the whole thing, when your compatriot was gobbled into the maw of that gigantic beast and you dove in right after him. Oh, gave me hen flesh.
Goosebumps.
I do what I do, and I'm good at what I do.
Then keep doing it. As just as quickly as his awareness had sort of settled on you, the presence fades, leaving the room a good 5 degrees colder.
Boy, this is just a gathering place for the Celestials, isn't it?
As have I actually forgotten the name of your patron? Sora. Holy crap. As Sora quietly chimes in a few moments after, and as you're kind of recovering from all that, she says, yes, I believe I foretold this.
He smiles. And he goes, yeah, kind of figured. You're the only one for me anyway. And he's gonna go water his plant.
With a very sarcastic tone, she says, what a charmer.
She has a big grin.
Alright, now you need to seduce Sora.
I am somewhat charismatic. Hey,
Hasn't
I
it
can
already
almost
been done?
guarantee there will be no one else like Rockrock she's ever known.
Hey, you never know. You gotta prove yourself to her more than you already have.
Yeah, sure. Well, she's in for a ride then.
I mean,
Oh, sorry.
apparently your prim and proper paladin is a little feral when he's mad.
Oh, Gova. I did choose my cantrips.
Awesome. What'd you choose? Unless you
I
don't want to
chose-
say.
I don't want to say, but you can look at my sheet.
Okay. Ooh. Oh goodness. I am excited.
I thought you would like those.
I love how the theme of the spells is completely different when you choose versus when Sora chooses.
Right? It's an interesting yin yang going on.
As you sort of finish looking through the book, a number of vague sort of secrets being explained to you in the various passages. You eventually settle on 3 of them, and as you do, you notice that whenever you open the book, it always seems to flip to those pages, explaining the various sort of techniques and almost feelings behind the actual spells. As the book sort of solidifies more, it sort of condenses and contracts to be somewhat smaller, as well as having iron or maybe bronze bushings. Or sorry, yeah, basically, it's gilded in a somewhat hard metal, maybe a bronze-ish color, sort of a dark brown.
Can it look like dried stained blood on metal?
Not really. But you can sort of make the metal look kind of sinister and reddish colored. And actually, after tinkering around with it, you kind of just keep thinking about blood and stuff, and eventually the metal turns rusty, sort of like a rusted cast iron.
So Rockrock's just normal thoughts.
Yeah. I believe you guys have 2 days left in the town. Because I was kind of wrapping up stuff from previous events. What are you guys going to finish up in town with?
Eric's will just keep working on the ship.
All right.
Did I get any progress on my thing with the place? My application process to be able to do all that stuff?
I need to look a bit more. Yeah. As you were eating lunch on the 3rd day in port, there's a brief sort of almost like the sound of a paper crinkling right next to your ear, and you kind of look over, and almost emerging from a small mail slot in just thin air is a small letter. And as you kind of open it up, it is addressed to you. It reads, "Congratulations. Your application with enchanting incantations
How
has
could you
found
possibly forget the name?
exactly. It's terrible. has found a matching applicant for your request of." And there's a small description of what you wanted of a way to get from point A to point B through the air. Your scheduled appointment with the donator is and it seems to be a time roughly 2 hours from now.
Time to get from point A to point B in the air. I didn't really ask for that, but I guess we'll see what they have.
It's Tensor's floating disk.
Okay. Get things from point A to point B. Not just me, because that's like the fly spell.
I forgot exactly what you had down for that one in regards to in character or such, but yes. You make your way back towards the concourse, and sort of meeting you there is a somewhat frail-looking older woman. As you meet, she kind of looks at you almost bewildered. Oh, anyone can learn magic these days, eh?
Cobalt says nothing, but conjures a replica of a spellbook.
And she kind of looks at you, and a small sort of wry smile appears on her face. She says, "Ah, that's good. More innovation from differing mindsets."
I love the idea that I can just conjure my spellbook with my ability. It's great.
But the spellbook that the sort of illusionary spellbook, the one that you're conjuring, isn't able to be written in precisely. The actual spellbook is. Are you using ability to sort of draw it from?
You're right. I was thinking of I was giving her a spell, not giving me a spell.
Yeah.
That's why I conjured my spellbook. I'm just gonna use. Then I'll take it out of Liam and secret chest.
All right. As you conjure the chest, as it kind of clunks onto the ground, she kind of looks at you, and she starts to just pull her spell book off of a sort of tied off rope at her waist. And starts to thumb through it along with the letter that she was given, it seems. And she kind of looks through it, and she flips through, and he says, a fair price for this one is there's literally a 1 minute gap as she does math and such. 100 pieces.
I'm gonna give her 182.
All right.
Hold on, I have to do math now.
And as you're actually doing such, as you're sort of picking it out and counting it, and sort of handing over the full amount, there's a brief clinking sensation as 5 additional gold pieces are drawn from your pouch into the air. And as you kind of look at them, they just sort of seem to disappear into mist.
Makes sense. I mean, honestly, it's hard to surprise a 13th level. Yeah, 13th level mage at this, or 12th level mage at this point.
Yeah. You reckon that was probably the service charge.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I took the money out of my thing.
As you basically find a spot to sit down and copy it over to your spellbook. There's what?
Can we trade stories too?
Oh yeah, totally. As she says, she's she's a teacher in the Mages College over in Kalimshan. For some reason, you never really quite exchange names, as you're kind of just exchanging experiences. But she talks of the illusion magics. She's not very experienced with conjuration, but she can definitely hold her own. You reckon she's maybe 150 years old, which is surprising for a human.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cobalt is 6.
Mm. All right. And over the next hour or so, you manage to copy down the spell. There's also the there's basically a dispensary for various scrolls and inks, and you go up and buy them, and the coin automatically just deducts itself from your coin pouch.
Oh, so it's additional 50 for copying the spell? Or something else?
No, it's just you can buy all the magical supplies that you need there.
Does it cost anything?
The normal cost of copying the spell over.
Yeah, so 50. Because it's a level 1 spell.
Yep.
Wait, is this one a conjuration spell?
Uh,
Oh, I gotta find it. It is. Alright, cool, so it's 25.
There we go. As you finish up your copying, she shakes your very, very small hand, gives a tip of the hat, and teleports away in the on the teleportation circle.
Cool. No, they said they'd give me a message if they had someone that wants one of my spells, right?
Yes. And actually, when you saw that she had almost an identical message, or when she was looking through her own spell book. As soon as she leaves, the letter disappears into a fine mist, which dissipates quickly.
Okay, cool.
All right. Eric's, what are you doing? Preparing the ship?
Yeah, pretty much all I
Alright.
really have to do.
All right. At this point, the ship is definitely repaired. And I should probably share the main map. If you want to be on it, that is. So yeah, the ship is repaired now. Is there anything very, very important that someone wants to get done before you leave?
How many days did we stay in town?
3 days.
Rock would have been waiting.
Sorry?
Rock would have been waiting for his armor by the mailbox.
As you're basically just sitting on the floor directly in front of the mailbox. Tail slightly swishing from side to side.
I love it.
And you already paid for that, correct?
Yes, I did, but I'm gonna.
All right. As the ship is preparing to get underway, and eventually it actually does get underway, as you start to continue your journey southwards towards eventually towards the Kobold Mountains. But more recently, you are going to what's the city? Harua. The actual city itself is named Halarach.
Okay. Anyone else want to take a day trip to Baldur's Gate with me?
I could.
Eric's?
Just to check it out.
How?
Teleportation circle.
You know one that's in Baldur's Gate?
Yep.
Sure.
Because we never really visited after it got destroyed, right?
We did not.
So either A, it doesn't work and we can't go there because the circle's destroyed, or B, we go there and then come back.
Alright.
Rock would stay on the ship then.
Okay. I just want to see what it's like now.
High or low?
Hi. Why roll 2 dice?
That's
Oh, it's
D100.
percentage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you guys sort of link arms on the teleportation circle within the wagon interior.
Hold on, I have a question, Dova.
Yeah.
If I just use another circle as an outgoing teleportation circle, do I need to expend the chalk for it? I mean, it's totally up to you.
I
'Cause
believe
normally-
that outgoing teleportation circle would use up the chalk.
Okay.
If it's just going to be a one-use thing, then you would use up the chalk and basically just consume it on the ground. When it's a more permanent thing like this, the chalk has actually been almost engraved into the wood itself, so it's it doesn't require that to be expended.
Sweet. Works for me.
As you guys link up, you link with the teleportation circle and almost try to pulley yourself through the air towards Baldur's Gate. As you do so, you feel a somewhat unpleasant resistance. Now, this is your chance to stop if you want to. As teleportation incidents in your experience are not quite pleasant.
Sorry, I actually muted my mic so you didn't hear what I said. If it was just Cobalt, he'd probably be okay with it, but he doesn't. But like, if Eris gets separated from him, then he has no way of getting it back. So I'll just stop there.
As there's a almost a staticky fizzling noise as the is cut off midway through. There's for a brief moment, there's a small amount of mist that sort of wafts up from the engravings in the floor that dissipates into the air.
Well, that didn't work. Maybe some
Eric's
other time.
reaction?
I don't know.
All right. As you guys are now underway, as I make my way back up towards that part of the map. There you are. Traveling goes quite uneventfully for the next 6 days or so. You were going to send me a message. I forget exactly what that water adding thing was. That was the... I believe I
What the
remember what that
reason was for it, or what the item was.
the water adding thing that you were mentioning, because I remember. Alright. On the end of the 4th day at sea again, Rock, you've just been your sort of motivation, your patience is slowly starting to wane as your tail has begun kind of thumping on the floor impatiently without your input. There's a sort of grinding noise coming from the outside that comes from the outside of the mailbox. It reaches a crescendo, which is somewhat loud, and a few of you who are in the mansion actually hear it. But eventually it stops as there's a small thunk on the inside of the mailbox.
I go to the mailbox.
You reach in and you feel quite happy because you feel a package in the inside, but it's kind of a small package. So you kind of pull it out. It's maybe the size of a small shoebox. And you kind of like look at it, turn it over, shake a little bit, and it quivers in your hand. It's currently held closed with a small twine wrapping. However, it does have a small tag on it reading Jeremy.
The way you said that, I imagine like super extravagant, fancy cursive with
Exactly.
a little heart at the end of the Y, just because that's how he always does it.
Yes, that is exactly how it's written down, with very fancy ink.
Glittery purple ink.
None. That's a bit too far.
Since Sora's the only one around, she will pop. Rock is like a kid opening a gift on Christmas Day. So anybody else seeing a package from Jeremy probably would tell him to open it out the mansion. But that's Rock. He's gonna open the package.
You're really like something's your mic's muffled or something.
It just sounded like your mic was
That's
a
my
little bit.
voice.
No, it's like your mic was a little bit further away from your mouth at some point in that conversation. But I got what you're saying.
Oh no, that was actually my voice.
Okay. So, well, as you sort of sit down, as you pull at the strings holding the bow tie shut, you sort of untie the knot, and there's a brief moment where the package quivers again, a little bit more violently. Could you give me a dexterity saving throw? As instinctively, you actually, at this point, would you? As you sort of duck back, as the lid absolutely flies open, as the compressed set of armor that was inside now decompresses, showering the room with various armor pieces. The chest plate, the helmet, the greaves, all just go flying out across the room, clanging on the ground. One of them actually is hanging from the chandelier, as some of the spikes from the armor lead to it embedding themselves in the wall. There is no note inside, but there is definitely a very sort of ozone smell to the room now. The box itself smells like that. It smells magical.
Smells like victory.
Exactly. As you pull off one of the forearm guards off of your muzzle, as it was kind of stuck on there like an actual muzzle for a dog. As you sort of just pull that off.
What'd you have enchanted again?
His old set of armor that was worked on.
No, I mean, like, what was the work done on it?
Oh, a few enchantments.
A few? What'd you get, Rock?
Fun things.
Oh. Okay.
And yes, the whole water resistance thing is still on it. However, the creation of water and the whole keeping it wet was not put on it. If you want the benefits of the thing, you will have to find some other way to keep it wet.
I like a challenge. I'm gonna put my armor on.
Sorry?
You almost sound like you're tearing up. I'm gonna put my armor on.
I'm just so happy.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Wasn't it like if it's wet, then it has fire resistance or something like that?
Oh, that's just normally.
Oh, thanks, Dova.
It's like a slow montage of him suiting up, like from the Batman movie.
Are you sure?
And there's
it's not
just like the brief moment with the music's not on, as he's like in the back room, like in the background, hopping around trying to get a boot on.
Are you sure it's
Up-
not like
Up
a
on the
magic...
wall.
Oh, like a magical girl transformation.
Yes, I was thinking that.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, and as well as you hanging from the chandelier, trying to get the piece down from there.
Or just jumping at the chandelier and not getting anywhere close to it.
Oh, wait a minute! You have a special spell exactly for that.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Head down on the top of the chandelier.
You guys are breaking out really bad for me at the moment.
Not everything's about you, Eric's.
Wow, really?
I'm joking.
I'm well aware of that, thank you, Cobalt.
I'm just joking. So yeah, he got his armor. That's awesome. So, are you gonna tell us what the enchantments are? Because I forgot.
I believe Rock knows what they are.
No, I'm gonna ask
do.
you Rock.
You'll find out.
Okay.
Also, Eric's, would you have told Cobalt about the cards?
Yeah, now that we're back together.
Alright, I'll identify them.
What you're getting from these is that they're sort of like a magical accumulation device. You're not sure about, like, you have no clue how to extract the energy from these things, but you know that they're sort of absorbing energy from the environment around them and sort of just storing it within themselves. You also, as you're kind of looking at it, you almost, in a flash of almost inspiration, you can actually see a passage of text in the air in front of you. And as you kind of look around, you see that it follows wherever your eyes go. And it says,
Haha, I'm blocking
Congrat-
it with a vision.
congratulations, you have found, I forgot what's his name is.
Anir?
Sorry.
Hold on a minute.
Well, okay, I thought he had a special name for himself. You have found one of Anir's special item vouchers. Simply bring it to your nearest indigo room to have it transformed into magical items, prizes, and enchantments. And it lists some business hours.
Interesting.
However, it doesn't list an address.
I want to try to put a first level spell slot and direct it toward the cards.
Sure. Any spell in particular?
No, just a first level spell slot's worth of magic.
As you sort of hold the card in your hand, you direct magic into it, and there's almost a slurping noise. As soon as you let a little magic out, it immediately.
Kobold's tail starts wagging excitedly, and he's gonna put a 5th level spell slot in it.
All right.
Could you repeat what
Could you
you
give me
said
a
there,
Constitution
please?
saving throw, Eric's? Sorry, could you give me a Constitution saving throw, Cobalt? What were you saying, Eric's?
I asked you to repeat what you said there.
The first level spell slot that was inserted into the card is basically just disappears into the card itself, as the card just almost slurps it all up.
I used a lucky.
All right. As you sort of kind of bring your face back a little as you prepare to dump 5 levels worth of magic into it. And as you do so, you're almost brought to your knees as the sudden shift of energy just completely catches you off guard. As with an audible slurping sound, the 5th level looked into the card. As it is glowing quite vigorously now.
Are there any extra? How many cards did you say were in the stack?
4 cards.
Are there any more now?
There are not. It's still
Interesting.
just the 4 cards with the jack glowing quite vigorously. The one that you are identifying since it had that strange visage on it.
Oh wait, so they're separate? It's not like the deck is an item?
There are separate cards.
Oh. Okay. I guess I'll identify each card then.
They all seem to give you the same thing, but only the jack gave you that sort of text in your eyes.
Hmm. Okay. Well, you know what I'm gonna do, Dova?
Sure.
I'm gonna go find the what's it called? The mansion layout paper.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna draw a box and write indigo room.
All right.
on it, and I'll
Alright.
put it back in and see what happens.
Very
And
well.
I'll
And you
tell
convince everyone to get out. All right.
yes.
As you kind of rouse Rock from a very, very good night's sleep in full armor.
He's
In his
super
own
snuggly.
armor.
Wait, Dova.
Yeah.
I don't. I summon Tensor's floating disc, and then I'm going to conjure a bunch of cushions on top of it, and just roll them onto
Are
the
you? Oh.
and just carry the disc behind me.
As could you give me a Constitution check, Rock? And Cobalt, could you give me a stealth check?
Like a dexterity check?
Yeah.
Oh no, a stealth check. Okay. I'm gonna lucky that. That's.
As Rock, you were awakened for a brief moment as you kind of rolled onto a very comfortable platform, and you kind of go right back to sleep.
That sounds about right.
All right. As you return to the mansion, with the scent of sawdust, you sort of make your way up on the second floor towards where you wrote in the indigo room.
Not before I put Rock back in his bed.
All right.
I just kind of float the disc toward it and like tilt it upwards so he rolls onto the bed.
Just rolls onto it. All right. As for a brief moment you reawaken, but fall back asleep as you are now back in your own bed, in full armor, of course.
Of course.
All right. As you go to the door marked the indigo room, I should talk to him a bit more about the actual inside of this room first.
I was about to say, I'm just kind of taking a guess here. Like, for all I know, it could be just a room where the walls
Where
are
it's-
blue, or it
yeah.
could be something like super specific that I had no idea about.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I suppose I'll figure that out later. But it is getting kind of late, and I know that some people do have work tomorrow. So I think now would probably be a good time to stop.
Man, these sessions just feel like they go quicker and quicker.
Well, that was a 4-hour one. Last one was super short though.
It just doesn't feel like 4 hours, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's good. That is fantastic. I love that
Mm-hmm.
because it means that you're having fun.
Definitely. It's great.
Zim?
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We will... Rooms and Reptiles will be back next week on on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That is 7 p.m. Eastern. I do hope to see you all there again. I will be back tomorrow, same time, with Darkest Dungeon. Near got that for me, and so I'm gonna try it out tomorrow.
That's a good one.
Oh, yes, please.
I'm going in blind, so
Do you also have the Court of Blood DLC?
I
The
have
Crimson
no
Court.
idea.
Crimson Court. If you do, don't activate the Crimson Court. It's bad for your first playthrough. You will die. You will
Yeah,
cry.
It is
You
pretty
will
bad.
not want to play anymore.
I don't know. Everything I've been hearing about this game, I'm not sure I want to play, period. But
oh no, it's great. It's just like, don't play the Crimson Court right off the bat.
Yeah.
anyways, thank you all so much for joining. Bueezels, thank you for fulfilling and covering our kraken insurance this evening. Otherwise, yeah. See you all next time. I bid you all adieu.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You want to try that again, Rock?
It's not gonna help.
Don't make fun of the sick.
No, did you do that on purpose, Rock? That last
No.
one? Okay, just wondering.